Come on, everybody, let's start the show. A quick ahoy hoy and away we'll go. Richard's got a minifig and Flynn's got a pin. The gang's all here and it's time to begin. TrickyBricks roll call. Moto, Holly, Cara, and sometimes Blair, Clicky, Logan, Ms. Thing and Angela, and Thunderman Ho! Now you're here to grab your bricks and let's go to the TrickyBricks Build and Check Show!
Ahoy, hoy, friends.
Ahoy, hoy, friends. Look, we were actually here when the song ended.
And you know what? I think the sound is on too.
And I think that, well,
if the lights are adjusted.
I know. It's like we knew what we were doing after 690
Is that all?
episodes. I hope everybody's having an awesome Sunday. We just filled up these gigantic cups of coffee. They are quite large.
I know. We might have to change the frame rate of the video because we're just going to be a blur.
Right? Yeah, it's been a lot of coffee. A lot of coffee morning, a lot of Animal Crossing morning. But that's a typical morning for us.
I think so. on the weekends.
Well, okay.
Okay, we get up before 6 o'clock and play Animal Crossing.
Well, maybe not before 6,
Sometimes.
but we're definitely up by 7 playing Animal Crossing in the morning. It's such a nice way to start the day.
It is. I
relaxing.
gotta say, it sets me off in a more positive way than the news.
Well, anything would.
And you know what else makes me so happy? Maybe we're not ready to invite them yet, but gosh, there's some cheerful people in the green room.
There are some awesome people in the green room. I'm very excited to bring them on. And speaking of green, the king of green hoodies is here. He loved that hoodie so much that he went out and found a replacement. It is, of course, Moto. Hi,
Hey,
Moto. Are you there?
Uh-oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, I can't hear you for some reason. Maybe it's my...
It's like, was there a green...
I think...
Is that better?
Oh, there we go.
Yay.
Yay. You're in the spirit.
I had to pull all my USB ports apart yesterday in order to get my laptop working again. I think one of the external hard drives failed.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of moving to the cloud. I've had so many hard drives go over the years. Oh, well. Well, I'm glad to hear you're up and running.
Up and running and ready to go.
Awesome. Well, speaking of ready to go, look who's here also from Lego Masters Season 2. It's Randall. Hi, Randall.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? It's been a while.
Good. How are you? So good to see you.
Yeah, been a little busy as of late, but had to make sure I stopped through.
Awesome. Well, we're so glad you did. Awesome. Well, let's see. We've got also coming from across the bay. It is everybody's favorite minifig chick. It's Cara. Hi, Cara.
Hi, Cara.
How are you?
Good. How are you all?
Good. We've got well, that's everybody right now, but we've got, I'm sure, Holly coming soon. Oh, hi. And there's Randall's ceiling. You know, I've often wondered what your ceiling looked like, and now
it's the same as everything else, just bare and white. No paint here yet.
That camera rig comes with play functions.
Yeah.
So, how is everyone this fine Sunday? Any exciting new Lego purchases to report?
Yes.
Uh-oh. All right.
That was emphatic.
Yes, I know. We don't usually hear that much excitement from Moto about a set, but I am looking forward to seeing what it is.
You said purchases. I don't think you said set.
Oh,
you got it.
Yes.
Remember, he said day one. He
did say day one. He did say day one. Okay, so what is the Oh, there we go. So what is the Moto review, like the thumbnail review of the Globe?
I love the finished model, but this is the most repetitive build I've ever done, but I expected that because I watched the entire thing get built on a live stream.
Right.
But
wow.
Long
stream.
It was like 5 hours watching Martin put it together. But
right.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's super repetitive because it's basically the same thing over and over and over and over for every single panel. Every other panel.
Each longitude line is repeated over and over. Oh, and even each half of one, right?
Exactly. So you build one half, and then you got to do the other side, and you sit there and you just. I don't know, man. It was like 13 million X, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay, so it's one of those. It's one of those. The final product is maybe more fun than the actual build itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Really interesting going through to see how they solved it the first time, but after that, it's just mechanically putting things together.
Like arches on a coliseum, so are the days of our lives.
Oh no, this is not the days of our lives. This is as the world turns.
Oh, of course, of course it is.
As the world turns.
Nicely done.
And about 5 people will remember what that is.
Exactly.
I was more of a Dark Shadows kid myself, but a good soap opera. And General Hospital was very popular in the 80s.
What in high school we would during lunch break we'd go into a classroom and watch General Hospital because Luke and Laura.
Yes, Luke and Laura, that's right.
That was probably were like a couple of soap operas that really touched a cultural point, and Dark Shadows was one of them for the 60s, and then in the 80s it was General Hospital. They made songs about it, and they even had Liz Taylor came in and played the wife of the crazy scientist who was going to destroy the town with his weather machine. It was some seriously weird superhero
Well, also there was the whole "Who Shot JR" thing.
Well,
I remember that.
That was like a night, basically a night soap opera, and the "Who Shot JR" was another huge one. Oh my goodness!
The Young and the Restless was my mom's jam.
Oh, dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, there was a rabbit hole. I promised rabbit holes in the description of the video, and here you are, friends. Rabbit holes galore. Johnny says,
Alexander
Edge
23.
of Night. Yes.
Alexander 23Z was named due to a soap opera.
Oh my.
That's such a leading comment.
Edge of Night. Yeah, that was another one. Oh my goodness. Well, we're here on the edge going, and we're some of those are still going. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Anywho, so any other purchases, anything like that?
Not me. I've actually had to call. I had to call Lego because a couple of mine got canceled.
Oh, what?
So I was able to get the Year of the Tiger gift with purchase on one of my purchases, but the other two, they never came through. So I had to get that rectified. So I've had to make some retroactive Lego purchases, if anything.
Oh my goodness.
Well, so what is your review of the experience of making it through that, process?
I got some VIP points. They slapped that onto my account. Because the stuff that I did get, I ended up buying is one of the Lunar New Year sets, not the round one with the different moments in it. The
ice festival one.
Yeah, but the ice one.
That one's really cool.
Yeah. So they weren't able to reinstate the orders that I did make. I just had to make them over again. But some stuff I did try to buy when it was in stock then is not in stock now, like the typewriter, I think, the London bus, a couple other things. But I was able to get the London bus elsewhere, like Target or something.
Wow, it's like Lego is part of the global supply chain.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He just wants to get the Year of the Tiger.
Yeah.
Oh, I can play that on my ukulele, sadly. It's true. So actually, you know what? John Luttrell just was mentioning, wasn't Rick Springfield on General Hospital? And yes, he was the dreamiest. It was Dr. Noah Drake. And then he went on to have a music career.
Like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
That's
Yep. And then, okay, here's a true confession story. Rick Springfield was the first live music concert I ever went to, and I won tickets on the radio. Like I literally called in on like a push button phone. It might have even been a dial phone, and I won my ticket. The two things I've ever won tickets for on the radio was the Rick Springfield concert and tickets to Jaws 3 in 3D.
Oh, that's awesome. I love the fact that you actually participated in acquiring these because you had to actually dial in. So clearly you wanted them.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
It was Rick Springfield.
It was Rick Springfield. Come on. And I may have had like I may have had a I don't really know I'm gay yet crush on him.
Oh,
like,
he was the Rob Lowe of pop
he
music.
was the Rob Lowe.
That's good.
It's true.
Whoa! John Luttrell says he's 72 now.
Wait, what?
Stop with that. We don't need to know numbers. It's really not important.
I don't need to know that. I do not need to know that at all. Anyway, we're gonna give shout out to everybody out in the chat here in a minute. So make sure you have your hellos in, your ahoy hoys, and while we are populating that list, it's time for pins. And
a new character.
Not really. We'll go. That's a pretty common one for me. Why don't we go ahead and do ours first today? We rarely go first. Here you go.
2 more polite squirrels you'd never meet.
Okay, they're not squirrels. They're chipmunks.
Chipmunks, excuse me.
And
oh my goodness.
Ground squirrels.
Okay,
Chipmunks.
you're fired. Get out.
Chip the squirrel. Chip the squirrel.
We just stayed in a hotel that was all Chippendale
of
themed.
course they're.
I'm
You
just
see,
telling
the
you.
mouth moves without
Without the brain
going
connection.
in gear. Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Drew, how's it going?
But that said, I really like this pen.
And I picked this up. There's like a new series of pins, like movie moments, and I got this one.
Yes.
It's a really cute Ariel and Flounder pin. Awesome.
Flounder's looking pretty cute there.
He is looking very cute. All right, and let's see, Cara.
I have from, I think it says 2005, Tigger with a Tiki Tigger mask.
Oh, that's very cool.
That's
Apparently
pretty
there's a
awesome.
whole series of these masks, and now I need them all. So
Very cool.
Tigger looks a little like overawed by the mask.
he's
like
just a little
he's
concerned.
concerned.
He's a little unsure. You think, is that me or no?
What have you done?
All right. Oh, and look who's just in time for pin time
Yeah.
from the Great Pacific Northwest. It's Holly.
Wow.
Oh,
Pretty,
there
like,
you
already
go.
prepared.
Ready. Holly.
I was kind of prepared. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So in light of Book of Boba Fett. And,
Very nice.
and
Haven't seen
Mandalorian
it yet.
slash Mandalorian.
Yeah, I haven't seen the latest episode yet. That looks cool.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
And hi, ahoy, howdy to Bricks Edu Blair Archer EDU. I like to say Edu.
Do you though?
Yeah. EDU.
Okay.
I got my whole
friends.
thing going on.
I know.
You definitely got a whole thing going on.
See, Cara, now you understand. Now you know. See, Cara's given the patented Flynn head shake. Like,
That's literally your SMH.
All right, Moto, what have you got for us?
Oh, this one is lovely. I didn't even have to pass the bar examination for this pin.
Oh, Colorado
Oh, wow.
court's attorney. So does that mean if you put that on, you can just like walk into like the courthouse and be like, I'll represent you?
I don't want to even think about trying that. in real life because the consequences could be very dire.
You say, listen, Judge Judy, this is not how it's going to be.
Well,
That's exactly. So if you spend 99 cents in a thrift store, that does not make you a court's attorney, but it's fun to imagine.
Esquire.
Okay, so Ken Olson says, can someone briefly explain the ahoy hoy? Yes, so ahoy hoy started long time ago. I made a passing reference to it was like, I think maybe even one of our first episodes, if not our first episode, we talked about Alexander Graham Bell when he invented the telephone. That's what he wanted the greeting to be, instead of like ahoy, instead of hello, ahoy hoy, say, ahoy hoy on the line, and then that spun into down a rabbit hole of the Brady Bunch episode with the ship, the broken down barnacle barge. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. So there you go.
It just turned into The Simpsons, right? Mr. Burns. He still answers the phone the same.
Burns still answers the phone that way.
Ahoy hoy.
It's funny because he's old. Okay.
No, we're not old. We're classy.
No, he's old. Mr. Burns is old.
Mr. Burns
that's
is
not why we do it.
extremely classic then.
Yes, very classic. Okay, Randall, I know you have some pins.
Yes. So this is actually my one of my favorite pins, tiger pin. So friend of mine, she has
so cool.
Yeah, it's like origami. Yeah. So she has a like the whole Chinese zodiac like of pins, and so I wore some of these on the show, but this is actually my zodiac animal. I'm actually a fire tiger, so I'm turning 36 this year.
I'll say.
Oh, right on.
You're a fire tiger fire tiger. All right, and great. So that was. Did we get everybody? No, Cara, we didn't get you.
No, I did Tigger.
Oh, you did Tigger. That's right. Sorry. So we have gotten everybody.
Tigers are popular today.
Yes, it's a popular theme. Okay, and and look who is joining us. It's AIEAIOU and sometimes Blair. Hi, Blair.
Ahoy.
Hey, Blair. Thanks for clarifying. Yes, squirrels are the ones with the fluffy tails.
Yeah, chipmunks are just like little things,
Little stubby ones.
Tiny. But it was funny because I typed it in, and squirrel and chipmunk have the same emoji, which is a chipmunk. I was like, come on.
So in emoji world, you're not wrong.
They're not even the same color.
No.
Logan would chase either.
Yes, if it was small and in a tree, Logan would be after it for sure.
So Flynn, I do have a little bit of a show and tell.
Oh, well, and I also know Randall has a bit of show and tell.
He has a better show and tell. That's why I want to go first.
So, look, what? Me? I haven't made anything amazing in the past week.
He has, so he's going to blow it all the water. I'll just be the opening act.
Okay, go ahead, Moto. What's Moto? Today with our special feature, what's Moto building?
Well, have you guys ever heard of a Moonbase collaboration?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they have a standard airlock, right? Which is this.
Oh, I haven't heard about this.
No, neither.
I saw this. I loved it.
Yeah, so the Moonbase is a collaboration that space builders do. There is a standard airlock, and it has to be 10 studs off the ground, and you make a Moonbase with the standard airlock. And just like Mills, it's designed so that these airlocks will join together, and you basically it's a collaboration to build a big Moonbase. So it hits peak maybe in 2000, sometime around there. Well, I didn't like the basic, so I went with an upgrade.
Oh, ooh,
Nice.
That's really cool.
Now, what's cool is it even has a door.
Because of course it does.
So there's your airlock door that opens up.
Whoa, thick like an airlock would be.
Now, this was my first thought on approaching it, but here's my latest module.
Whoa, nice.
Hey.
Really dope.
That is awesome.
The way this works And I uploaded the way to construct this on TikTok. It's up at 70,000 views so far.
Wow.
Whoa.
So this is a cool one where can you guys see the droid arms in there?
Yep, that's what I saw.
Yep.
So yeah, there's little gaps in the large macaronis. And if you
those ones that mess up every round structure I've ever tried to make with their little rectangles.
But yeah, you can fit the robot arms in the gap, lock it in, and it's not illegal because they do float freely in there. There's no stress on the elements when you do it.
Wow, the list for some reason is not populating today. I don't know why.
Anyway, and then the other cool thing I did is there's a inkwells.
Oh yeah,
inkwell with the stud with the I don't know what to call them.
It's a Philip brick. That's what
the
1x2
rounded with the rounded corners. Yeah.
So why is this called a Philip brick?
Listen,
I don't know.
Philip calls it a Philip brick, so that's what I call it.
Okay, the Philip brick.
Favorite brick. That's why.
But then if you lay them in,
smart fit.
They go flush, and of course, because they have that negative inset, just like a jumper, you can put a little snot brick on the end.
Oh, very nice.
And that's how you start to integrate it into your structure.
Wow.
Oh, that was...
Now, of course, all the Star Wars fans
smart.
immediately said they're going to build a Bacta tank out of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything must be Star Wars.
Everything must be Star Wars. So imagine a Luke floating around in there after his car crash, and they had to work it into the script.
Moto, sorry.
No, I just want to take a quick break to say hello to everybody in the chat before the list depopulates itself again, because it apparently does it very quickly. So let's say hi. Alexander 23Z is here. Apples is here from Europe. Hello. We've got Brick Jedi, Brickanista, Brickaroo Bonsai. Chris, we have a bobsleigh team chalice, which reminds me we are in the middle of a challenge right now, which we'll talk about in just a minute. We've got Darren Siegfried, David C. Krause Jr. Hello, Fabufan MKE, Hooded One. Joel is tired of Baby Yoda saving a show. Okay. John Luttrell is here, and Vicky, hello. Johnny Cat, Lisa Head, and kicking off the Emscapades, Marilyn Parmley, Minifig Chick, Nick. Oh, Minifig Nick, Monica Berry, and Moto. Chick Nick. Apparently I still need new glasses.
We're twins, I guess.
She's here
and Maraid. Maraid just popped in too. Hi, Maraid. We've got PT McEwen. Patrick Wismer is here. Rob Zaccardi and the Zaccardis. Lana, Elena, and Vanessa, hello.
Phil Carlton is here.
Phil is here, and I'm sure Don as well. We've got Shane Levan is here. Hey, Shane. Spot the Magic Ninja. And we've got Wyatt Builds, and Zonker is here. Hello, Zonker. Awesome to see you.
Great to see you.
Oh, my goodness. And, of course, bonsoir to Wilfred and Zarakino, Kim, wherever you may be. Awesome.
Wow, there's a lot of building talent in the chat in this group right now. Lots of bricks.
I know. I see lots of shoulders moving, which means there's building going on. Either that or chair dancing is happening. I'm not sure which.
Moto, can I ask you one of the most common questions ever asked a Lego builder?
Did you get brakes?
No.
You blew it.
Did I get what?
How many brakes is it?
Not that one.
Did I get brakes? Oh, at first I thought you said, did I get bricks? I'm like, yeah.
No. The answer for me is no.
What I was talking about.
No, Moto, my question to you is that technique with the droid arms in the curve turning into the inkwell and the snot piece to mount it in the system, how long did that take you? Is that days thinking about different stuff or 10 minutes?
Well, I built this one and then I was thinking, you know what, it'd be cooler if everything was flush. That was what, 15 minutes, I think? with messing around.
Oh, that's such a clever thing to see that would fit in there. I usually,
the thing is, those droid arms are one of the pieces I always keep in my go-to container for clip and bar techniques. So I have a bunch. I had I was just thinking, those are really narrow. I'll try it out, and flipping it around and whatever, doing that, and then the inkwell part took a little. That was like another 15 minutes of staring at it, and I went, "Oh yeah, okay, that'll work."
We when we build a big structure, we do a first pass and then a second pass to lose the sketchiness of it. Like, oh, I'll just build this for right now, and then 6 months later, it's still sketchy. So we do a second pass for making it sturdy and more reinforced. I imagine you do a second pass to make things more flush because you don't have a lot of gaps in your builds.
Yeah, or do it completely different. Like this was a full day, and I'm tearing it apart on camera and swapping it out with this, which is a lot better. So trying it again sometimes works out well. Yeah, I don't know. The curved part of this was an hour.
That's cool.
Of fiddling around, especially to get that airlock door. Mess around with that to get the reversion, the reverse of the how to reverse the door, because that's two halves and you have to figure out a way to reverse it. So what's really interesting to me and why this part took a while is if you look at that, getting those things to align perfectly doesn't naturally happen in system. There's a one plate gap, and the trick to overcoming a one plate gap is always to use the headlight bricks because they have a half plate recess in them.
Oh, very nice.
That lined everything up, and then there's basically I'm using the fact that the headlight brick also has a stud acceptor in the back.
Yep.
And then, just trying to finish that.
Oh, and then the bumper on the bottom ties it together, right?
Yeah, but it does. They don't, there's nothing really holding the door together except for that little flippity-doo.
Cool.
But yeah, figuring that out took a while because it's like noticing gaps all over the place in the headlight brick. It always takes me a while to think of the headlight brick. I don't know why.
Because it's such an off.
Yeah, but I have it right here next to all my snot bricks, which I was using. So it's like I don't know what I was like. I don't know.
I feel like for every problem that the headlight brick solves, it like creates two more.
It can. You're not lying.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think thinking about the headlight brick requires some 3D manipulation in your head that's not as immediate for me as with some other bricks.
Yeah.
That's because that half plate offset, and the only thing that can make it up is using a bracket to bring that bracket extension as a half plate to bring it up.
Yeah.
To get full plate distance back. It's a nightmare once you start doing that, though.
I'm trying to design some micro scale stuff, and that stuff is tricky. I don't know how much micro scale. I know Flynn and Richard have done a lot of micro scale, but
not me.
Yeah.
You start getting into micro scale, and it gets really, really tough to try and find.
I love it. I love microscale.
Your geometric choices are less. You know who's awesome at microscale, and he'll be at Bricks Cascade, is Zonker Harris.
Oh, yeah, Zonker.
He said in the chat he's working on one right now.
Yeah, that's tough. I still have like 3. Like I'm kind of trying to do a series of stuff all in micro scale, but I haven't finished even one because I'm so stuck with like trying to get the detail in there that I need, but not being able to get those offsets to line up just right in the color of parts that I need, like I'm pretty close to giving up and just starting something else.
I feel like math, like actual snot math helps that a lot. And I'm sorry to admit, I'm often a little lazy about that. Like I'll go for another build solution rather than like going to the paper and be like, okay, this and that many and
I get it. I'm the opposite. I'll like break out the calculator all day.
Oh, no.
So,
Well, I do that in my day-to-day work, but with Lego, like usually the offsets for how often in system a Technic brick will line up and allow you to lock stuff together is some of them. I don't get a lot more complex than that in Lego math. I mean, how about you? Do you all use complicated Lego math?
Never.
yeah, I just use it.
Come on.
Yeah, I just use it in the last
Have you met me?
Yeah, I know. See, like if I'm algebra, then like Moto is like statistics, calculus up there. Like that's where you reside.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
Mel has
And I'm quantum physics chaos.
There you
yeah,
go.
Blair's definitely got quantum mechanics going on in there. But no, Mel Brown, he's like, you said, how do you put it? He's like, okay, guys, you know how there's Lego math? Moto's like Lego probability, man. Like probability.
I can hear him say that.
He's like,
So
Moto,
Blair-
you got Lego probability, man. Lego probability. It was pretty. I've loved that description. I could never. I don't know. He's such a wordsmith, man.
Blair,
I love
I'm
Mel.
curious. I understand, I think, a little of how like J.K. Brickworks or Yoshihiro Isagawa do their magic, and that they start with math. I think. How does the quantum chaos method work?
For me, I don't know. I just like pushing the limit of Lego and trying to find something new. So a lot of my work is similar to Moto, where my mind doesn't work the same as Moto's. I'm approaching it. I think I'm approaching from the chaotic side of art, and he's approaching from the logic. Right, we're the logic and art, right? Like in the Lego Movie 2 credits song. But I like just sort of trial and error to try and come up with things like Moto did, where can you fit this piece in an interesting new way, and then what do you do with it? So I'm just always kind of like taking new elements, messing with them,
I've
taking
always
lug bulk
noticed-
and like twisting it
I've
around.
always
and
noticed
figuring out
Blair
what
is
I
looking
can
for a technique that will become his seed to the design, whereas I'm like trying to solve something.
Mhm.
But it's coming at from the same way of like, I really want to put this part on here in this weird way, but I don't know how to do that. So how's that going to work? That's the challenge for me. Is trying to, and that's what leads to the crazy connection.
I think of it a lot as especially if we're doing mechanics. I think of 3D manipulation. Like you have to turn it 90 degrees and then go this way, and then and what part is going to get me 90 degrees? Like I think about it step by step through, like in a kind of linear way. If I'm trying to solve a mechanic. How about you?
In my
For me,
head,
it's inversions.
in my head, it's a lot of
Inversions always
like
give me problems.
things colliding in my head, like atoms colliding and just sort of fitting the pieces together and being like, no, and then like, no, and then no. And then I try it physically and just sort of running permutations, trying to figure out like Moto said, I'm looking for a seed to grow something from. Whereas Moto, I think, is better about seeing his end result and solving towards that. I'm like, I don't know, I'm starting at the inside of the spiral and spiraling out. And I'll find some weird connection and be like, oh, I want to build an entire little mini robot around this weird shape that I've created, because sort of breaking the mold of the Lego exterior is what I'm interested in, and making something that, I don't know, people tend to see my stuff and they know it's mine. Like I don't see it as the process is going along, but it like oozes my particular style, the way that I like to get pieces that you might not have seen used before on there in interesting ways, and that the overall shape at the end is like less, you're able to see it and not necessarily know it's Lego right away. I'm designing in a particular style, and the end result isn't always what I started out going for. I let the Lego kind of guide my process. So I want to build a spaceship or a robot, and I have sketches that I start with, but it doesn't always end up the same. Elements of my original design are still there, but it's a much more organic evolutionary process for me rather than a linear step-by-step.
So
Let the clutch flow through you.
I'm curious, how many of you use sketches when you're building something? Because I remember like when people first started, whenever we talk about our design process, people always ask like, how do you start? Like, do you do drawings? And I remember when we very first started building, people genuinely seemed surprised that we used sketches. Like I remember, so how do you start building
sketches to make that?
Well,
I'm kidding.
no. I just meant that people were, it seemed like that seemed odd to them that we sketched before we built. So I'm just curious, how many of y'all use sketches?
So it's like it's required. If once you get more than one person, you got to have a way to communicate.
Well, sure. And we just ran into that again the other day when we were talking about how our son was going to be represented in our Lego house piece.
It's true. We had both talked about and even sketched in a really basic way before an idea about 6-8 months ago, and we had completely different concepts of what that meant in bricks.
That's a really good point. Like I haven't done much sketching, and I couldn't even remember. I couldn't even tell you when the last time I had done any sort of like sketch. And I have done sketches for Lego builds, but that's not typical for me. But in just doing like our bathroom remodel, I have to sketch something every day because I'm trying to communicate to somebody like the layout of something or where something's going to be or what it looks like or a design for something. And so, yeah, I can totally see why you guys would need to sketch things out.
I go back and forth between thinking on paper and thinking in bricks. I need to go back and forth between them.
I do mostly brick sketches. So that's kind of my process, is because I use the digital tools at my, I mean, that's really what got me mocking were the digital tools, because I can just put down a noodle pretty quickly without making much of a mess. And just as soon as I get an idea and not have to go rummage for bricks, as soon as that idea hits, I can just go ahead and start playing with stuff. So I tend to do digital sketches where I just kind of throw out like a concept for something and just looking through what parts are available and seeing if it's like something that's, you know, feasible. That's kind of how I and then same thing where I will try to put parts together and see, which doesn't always work digitally. Sometimes like parts that would go together don't. But that's at the point where I can start grabbing bricks and actually trying different techniques to see if like I can come up with something.
And I wish that I could do that, but the techniques that I like to use and the stuff that I'm coming up with, like 90% of the time I can't do it in a digital program.
Right.
Because I'm literally pushing the limits of a connection or a weird angle, or I'm using something flexible, and those just don't, and some of those aren't even in the programs, which I'm just like, no, give me ball joints.
Like, that's interesting, because the way y'all are talking about sketching is very different than the way we talk about it. Like we don't do sketches of Lego detailed parts of the model or even Lego or even or any of that. Like our sketches are generally like for silhouette and for where things are going to be placed and like how, you know, if we want like proportion and that kind of thing, but not at all drilling down to the detail of actual like model making. Like that's usually just putting two bricks together and going that way. But yeah, I think our sketches are really more sort of bigger picture ideas than they are like more detailed stuff.
Yeah, I haven't done any like layout type models either, though. Like if I was going to do a large diorama, I would definitely start to like draw things out and lay out things.
What about you, Randall?
I like to draw like similar to what you were talking about, the silhouette. I had to go pull my notebook out because he's like sketches. I use sketches all the time. So hopefully you can see this.
Oh, cool.
Yes, you can. So let me do it this way. Yes. So this is me like trying to figure out the silhouette of, you know, the thing that I just posted on Instagram recently. You can probably tell what that is.
Yes. Okay.
So and it's
that's great.
Right. So I'm also you probably, if you can see like these dotted lines, you might not be able to, but there's dotted lines here because thinking about the structure of it, not just how it looks, but like how is it going to be sturdy enough, and then also like assembly of it ahead of time. So, yep.
How you do these really developed orthographic views?
You know what it comes from? It's just my architecture training, like being in those classes and figuring out all that stuff, so that I can think 3-dimensionally, but also think about the disparate parts and how they come together.
You know, that's an interesting thing that I hadn't thought of until just now, is how our design methods place limits or, you know, can be strengths in what we do. If we use studio and it doesn't have a certain kind of bricks, then maybe we're less likely to use those bricks. And in my design work, you know, for theater, I'm just starting to do 3D renderings. I do everything in like plan, elevation, and sections. So just like one 2D view, another 2D view. And that's the way I think about building Lego. What does it look like in elevation? What does it look like in plan? As opposed to a sculptor, like, you know, like molding or like chopping the parts out of hewn stone.
I think of it definitely more as sculpting, but that's also because part of my job is 3D modeling. So I'm essentially taking a sphere and morphing, or a cube or whatever it is, and kind of morphing that into whatever organic shape it needs to be. And so that's very much my Lego process as well, is just kind of like, usually I take a more artistic approach to it, and that it's like still life for me. I'm usually trying to make something that already exists. So I have a very visual reference, which is probably why, again, I don't need to do a lot of like drawn sketches, because I can just look at reference images and kind of just start shaping things, give it, you know, that silhouette or give it that sort of shell. And then I work from the outside in, where I start to kind of figure out how those parts are going to connect.
That's very much like what I do, because my favorite things to build are vignettes of movie or TV scenes. So I have obviously a very clear reference, and I want it to look as much like that scene as possible, so that it's instantly recognizable.
Right.
So I don't do sketches there. But that said, when I'm making like an imaginary thing, I have started sketching, and my sketches look like this, and they're a hot mess. There's no
kind of look more like mine.
Lines and just stuff like that. So I mean, that's my sketch, but that works.
Well, it's so funny because I always find this subject endlessly fascinating about how different people approach building. Because where Holly works from the outside in, we work completely the opposite. We build all of the little like building a building, right? Like we decide like this is how high or low this is going to be, and that's what we use those sketches for. Like we want to make sure that when you're looking at it, you're seeing a low hill here and a medium hill here. Maybe there's a tall thing here, but we got to make sure we balance this big tall thing out over here somehow.
Well, we start with geometric solids, right? Like if you're drawing Mickey Mouse, right?
But then we build that structure of those things, like the under part, and then build, then decide how to build on top of it. That's so cool. I just love that.
But I've definitely had a mix of things. So I think I've shared these sketches before of my Blacktron wearable suit.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like, okay, here's the idea and what I want it to look like. But then I looked later in the pages, you can see here are my like all the flex tube and where all the Bionicle pieces need to go along it.
Oh yeah,
nice.
So yeah, designing science fiction stuff that there is no physical reference for. Oh wow, that page. Yeah, the pencil ones aren't going to show up as well.
What if you angle it a little?
Here, let's try.
I see it.
Like designing mecha, and I've even started to do some like color work too, trying to sort of figure out my color blocking. These are for a firefighter mech that I want to make with like a big water tank on the back. But it's definitely a mixed bag for me, because when it comes to planning with the bricks, it becomes a physical in the pile of Lego activity, just because so many of those solutions I can't figure out how to do digitally. But I really want to start working more in studio, just to plan out stuff. Like I'm working on finishing the Winnie the Pooh set right now, and there are these techniques that like you have to pre-plan them, and you have to solve that math. Like I don't think, not at least for me, like I couldn't do this kind of stuff on the fly. I just don't. I don't have those layers of like how all this. If I just rip this front piece off here, like all that. Like I don't pre-plan that kind of stuff in my head, you know.
Right.
I try and figure it out painstakingly as I go along.
That's
And then,
Moto. That's like Moto things.
No, I mean, I think it comes from Billin. They've hired like this multi-dimensional being, like Mr. Mixelbrick or something, and he'll show up and annoy people with his awesome...
Mr. Mixelbrick. I see what you did there.
Yeah, but Mr. Mixelbrick shows up, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's like
I know.
It's like all the great connections that someone ever did are there.
Well, it almost feels like what we were talking about before with the AI. Like someone designed this thing and then they showed it to the AI, and the AI was like, here's the simplest solution to make this strong. Here's this awesome thing.
Like the Google Maps version.
Okay, all right. I'm putting I don't have a sketchbook handy, but I'm putting this link in the private chat that shows the sketch I did for the Coraline house, and it's pretty much right in between Randall and Kara's type drawing. It's
okay,
like,
well, I don't mean to cut you off. We can come back to this. However, we are late for a very special guest who is panicking if he does not get his thing soon.
She's ready.
I can tell he's panicking by the way he's laying there not doing anything. Yes. I think the chat is panicking more than anyone else, and they're not panicking either. So anyway, everyone, just in case you decided to tune in just for this moment, we bring you our very special pause that refreshes for today. That's right, everybody. It's Logan Cookie Time.
Logan.
Yay. Look, say hi to everyone. So I can tilt down. Can you say hi?
There you go.
And he's really looking at y'all. He's not actually looking at a cookie near the camera.
Okay, can you catch?
Of course.
Yeah,
Good boy. That's a good
boy.
one.
He's not going to get down until those cookies are gone.
Okay, this is too big to do the stay trick.
Good boy. And one more.
Are you really? Yeah. He gets a big one today.
Okay, you ready? Yay! You're too good at that. You're the best at that. And of course, we have Skittles is here.
Oh my God! Holly became Skittles.
That's Holly's Skittles cosplay.
Well, that finally answers my question. Who really was the puppet?
Skittles. Who's a good Skittles? Yay, Skittles.
Yay. Good boy, Logan.
And that has been Logan Skittles. Splashy, splashy, watery cookie time. Oh my goodness. Well, there you go.
In the fridge.
So Holly, you were posting a link to your sketches from the Coraline house.
yeah. So they're not like super neat or detailed or
Do you want me to put that in the chat so everyone can just see, or is that?
I don't know. I don't know if I can post links, but
I mean, I can if you want me to, but
Sure.
it's up
If
to you.
you're a mod with the Blue Wrench, you can do it.
But
I didn't know if Flynn could just like magically throw it on his screen.
Oh yeah, he can do that. That's probably a better idea.
Well, sketches are like a tool, right? They're not
Yeah.
necessarily meant to be framed.
Oh, hang on a second. Let me see if I can I'm not sure if I can do that.
You know, Blair, something while he's getting this link here, something
Here we go.
I was reminded of with the quantum discussion is the way I deal with scarcity. Like I build all these Lego houses of cards in my head, like, oh, this will be cool. I'll do it great. And then I try and find it in purple. Okay, no, not that. How about this? And then I say, well, no, now I don't. I'm doing it in purple, but I don't have the technical piece. How about this? And all these like possible realities assemble and disassemble within a few minutes, hopefully.
Possible realities assemble.
You know, before settling on the one that I can do with our collection.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like what 50% of Lego building is process of elimination.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's part of why I like working with unusual colors, because it gives you a built-in limitation.
Yep.
All right, here is
That's what I've been dealing with.
Holly's sketch.
There you go. There's my Coraline house sketch. Yeah.
Wow, it's so cool. I love the light sketchy quality reinforced by those solid lines with rulers.
Oh my God, please don't critique my artistic skills.
I think it's really lovely.
Nobody's critiquing anything.
And it worked as the tool you needed it to work as, right?
Yes. Yeah, this was, I think, more for, I think mostly I was trying to distinguish outside to versus interior. So for each outside area, like while I was watching the movie, trying to follow the layout as she walked through the house to figure out which room was on the inside of each of the exterior parts of the house.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see where she's erased Dad's parlor, garden, Caroline's BR. You can see the thought process and the editing that goes into.
That's awesome.
It was pretty trippy because I realized, I don't know how interested you guys are in this, but in the process of doing this sketch, I realized that there was some, granted it's a film, right? So it's not really going to be one-to-one from exterior to interior. And even in the interior shots, windows and doors and stuff tend to move around depending on which part of the set they built of the house, right? It's not real. They never built the outside of the house to be filmed from the inside. So there is some, what's the word? Continuity issues.
It's not a logical space necessarily.
Yeah. And so I realized when she goes through the layout of the house, if she was to go through the little door in the living room, she'd actually end up in the dad's parlor because there's a wall in between those two rooms where the door is. So that was what made it kind of tricky when you had to figure out, like, that held me up for a really long time. I was like, well, how the hell do I make like a magic tunnel between the living room and in the parlor when there's just like one wall there? And so I just bricked it up. That was the solution. I was like, oh, right. It is bricked up at certain parts of the film because it's just like a magical portal. So in that regard, I guess it makes sense.
That's such a, so this was a great tool for translating the film into bricks.
Yes. Yeah, it was absolutely necessary. Yeah, because we didn't have the house on set. By the time I decided to design this thing, those things were long gone. So I didn't have like the real life set to reference at work.
So there was some talk earlier about an amazing model that somebody here made and premiered this week. Now we've saw little bits of it coming along. Oh, stop shaking your head, Mr. Man. You know it's amazing. We know, and if you don't, we're going to tell you how amazing it is. Let us check out Randall's incredible Chicago theater sign because it is. I mean, I was very, very impressed. I gotta say, it's
gonna be funny. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, I tore that apart, man. That was just a sketch.
That was just a sketch.
Let me move my camera around, make sure I have enough slack.
Oh, look at those windows!
That's a gorgeous place.
Yeah, it's kind of big in here.
Ahoy, hoy, Daniel Duce.
All right, so. Chicago sign. Let me see if I can slack this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. Give me like 15 seconds. I'm going to move it.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
I know.
Don't, I'm so scared.
Don't pull a moto, please.
Yeah. Wow, that's huge.
Dang.
All right. So.
Oh, that was so scary.
So let me back up. So yeah, I think one of the things that I'll talk about is, I guess, just the modular way in which I built it. So let me start taking these off. So I got a whole bunch of like 1x16 yellow bricks.
Oh gosh.
Don't look. I've done this plenty of times and it's never fallen.
Oh, why would you? Why?
Why would I do that?
Don't say that.
So, okay.
Randall, I had something that had never fallen. The one time it was on camera. Guess what happened?
Guess what happened? Right. So
Kablooey.
So with the thing, if you can look here, you can kind of tell that I built it in sections.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
And so this piece here like interlocks both of those sections. So this top one is one piece. From the I to the A is another piece. And then the G to the O is another piece.
And you're using a combination of regular snot bricks and those brickhead snot bricks.
Are you talking about these right here?
So it's all in system, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
it's all
those.
in system. So that's why I'm able to, do these bricks the way they are and it all
Yeah,
lines
side
up.
lock it.
Yeah. So that locks these pieces on the side. So that that, it's sturdy.
Hey, it works for Richard and Dave, so why not? Right?
It worked for Richard and Dave. Yeah. So as you probably saw, I started off with the letters for the scale. And then from there built out from there. So I kind of did a Blair thing, but kind of not. The last part of it was probably the most difficult, which was getting that detail at the top. Had to get those flex hoses. Yeah, and really put some strain on them to get the curvature that's necessary for that top part.
Oh, that's beautiful though. That's so beautiful.
The Lego string in there is nice too.
Oh yeah, the string's a great detail.
Yeah, and luckily that worked out, like size wise for the scale. And also I had to wait for these white pieces because these did not exist before 2022.
Oh,
Right. Yeah.
Such an important part of the process is waiting for that element to exist.
right.
I've been there.
The modeling on your round letters is really beautiful
Yeah,
too.
it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I like the exposed studs too. The texture, it looks really nice. It actually
y'all were
helps
talking
kind of
about
blend
headlight
the
brick.
edges.
That's the headlight brick that Moto was talking about.
Oh yeah.
In order to get that. So yeah. And then
So are those all snotted on as well?
Are these what?
Are they put on with snot pieces?
Letters.
So behind these two headlight bricks that you see there are also headlight bricks because of the math.
Very good.
Right. And so what actually is happening, because this is dual-sided, like the same thing on this side is on the back, there are pieces that are going between, that are connecting both pieces of the letter, like going through the middle of it. So like I have a 1x8. I think this is like a this is a 2x8 plate on the top of the C that's going all the way around.
Oh wow, that's
nice.
So cool. So they're not just on the surface; they're interlocked into the structure.
They're interlocked.
That is a lot of pre-planning. Did you have to move the letters more than once?
No, because I actually let me hold this.
Oh my gosh.
Make sure it doesn't fall. Moto. All right.
Well, I want to mention a fun story. Is Randall was teaching Paris how to do brick sculpting.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking about that. That's so funny that you mentioned it.
You're so good at it. I mean, I'm glad you're teaching him that one day. That was really kind.
I actually built this sign another way the first time. So I built it with just one side so that I could figure out the shaping of the letters, but also the spacing in between. So I never had to move it more than once. I only had to build it one time and it lined up. Did I ever accidentally spell Chicago? No, I did not. I did not. I think the last thing I'll show is, I don't know if you can see it. You might be able to see it there. That's where some of the crazy Lego math is.
Oh wow.
You kind of start to see that because of the curvature that I had to get for that side of the sign, right? But in order to get all the math to line up, there's some 1x2 inverted like bracket pieces in here that
Oh yeah.
You kind of see it, right? That half plate offset.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's in there in order to get the math to line up.
Wow, Randall, this is so impressive. Just,
So
I mean,
that's it.
incredible. And I don't know if you saw. I mean, you probably didn't see while you were showing it off, but tons and tons of amazing comments on how great this is.
I appreciate that.
Wow.
Oh, Jake.
Now, do you plan to display this permanently somewhere?
Well, permanently, definitely my apartment. But I mean, I'm gonna show it at Brick World. If it showed up in the Chicago theater sometime, that'd be cool. What I will say is this base isn't finished because that's actually going to be the reinterpretation of the actual building that the sign hangs off of.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, so this was really just for strength to see if I could stand it up. But now that I know that it works, I can actually, make it look good.
So Monica is asking, do you know how long it took you overall, just in general?
I started this right before Lego Masters came on TV, so like Memorial Day weekend.
Wow.
And then,
so impressive.
And then, like I said, I had to wait for the Lunar New Year sets for those white plates, those white to come in. I was like, now I'm finished. So yeah, 7 months, I would say.
Absolutely gorgeous.
So did you know that those white flower pieces were coming, or were you just counting on
I did not. It was purely luck.
Yeah, cool.
Purely luck. I actually ordered some white leaves because I didn't know like at what scale it was gonna work.
Yep.
So by the time because I started from here. Like I usually start with the hardest part first whenever I make mocks to make sure that it's feasible and that it can be built. Which means I probably should have started up here, but it wasn't until I got up here and I was like, uh-oh, I might have to So it worked out. There are some things that I might, that I probably would have, if I thought about it more, would have changed. But for now, this ain't bad.
You might have willed those leaves into existence.
I know, right? That's incredibly impressive, Randall. Just love it.
Cool.
Well, it's been great seeing it kind of come together in bits and pieces, and then to see the finished product is it's wow. Just love it.
Woo. Okay.
Good thing you have high ceilings.
I know, right?
Seriously.
And I'm glad I don't have to follow that up with anything.
That's why I went before him.
Yeah, I got out some other sketches of an upcoming big project, but it's that thing's impressive, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
Let's see, Blair.
Yeah, this one's going to be put on hold for a minute because I was hoping to do it for Bricks Cascade. The idea was a asteroid mining and habitation vessel. So basically turning an asteroid into a habitable zone as well as a resource gathering spot. Because
wait, I read a book. That book.
What's it called?
I don't know. I'll remember the name.
Silent Running? No,
that was. Well, these are cool. I love that idea of turning the mining asteroid. Oh, was it Seven Eves by?
I have no idea.
Maybe Seven Eves by Neil Stevenson.
Cool. Well, between the delays due to the Bricks and Pieces merger, and then some of my favorite builders actually building asteroid mining facilities for the Space Jam, which normally I'm like, yes, I don't have to do the thing. But now I was like, oh, I actually bought a bunch of stuff to do this thing. So it'll be cool. I'll give it a minute to chill out and then hopefully have it for like BrickCon or something. But I want it to be fairly large. I have like 40 of the Paradisa windows, like in the Ship in a Bottle set. To do
those little curvy ones.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm gonna do these really long vegetation chambers and stuff. And I decided there's so much I want to do with it. It just was gonna stress me out too much for Bricks Cascade, and then the pieces are delayed. So later, but yeah, great things start start small, right?
Yeah,
You know,
pretty
either
well.
one little technique or a little sketch that just gets you going. And
Blair, I wanted to ask you about some of the sketches you shared earlier, maybe even that one. Did you sketch those first, or like you were saying earlier, you sometimes like make something to put something together in real life and it's like, oh, like this is going to turn into what you just sketched. Does that make sense?
yeah. Like sometimes, I don't know where else. Let's see. Like here's my like we're going to Bricks Cascade page, and so it's little tiny sketches because writing down the names of the mocks isn't enough for me. Like having a hold on, let me tilt. Having a visual cue for like Fab Max, Bunker, you know, the laboratory, different mecha, the T-Rex mech, for example, and then the mining facility, and then some stuff down here at the bottom that's like what I'd like to do. And some of them are based off of, you know, little table scraps, and then I'll go and do some more sketching and head back to the Lego. But usually if it's something inspired by actual building, I'll just sort of let it flow from there. It's just bigger projects where I try and hash out like a general idea of where I want it to end up. But like I said, you know, something will come up, I'll be digging for parts and I'll be like, oh my gosh, this piece is super cool. And then the whole plan will just change completely organically.
Nice.
Well, I appreciate in the drawing that the one you showed, not this one, but the multiple iterations of the ship, that I can see working out different iterations in the sketches. Like, so maybe you don't have to build 5 complete ships to get to the place you just got at that drawing.
Yeah, heck no. I'm going to be lucky if I build the whole thing just once. So yeah, just kind of figuring out like, well, how these are the elements I want in an asteroid mining facility. I want some kind of a gravity ring. I want solar paneling. I want the vegetation chambers. I want to integrate some sort of driving force, like a thruster, so that they can actually turn it into a spacefaring vessel. And then, of course, the mining operations themselves, docking ports, I've started working on all the little outlying ships, like microscale freighters and stuff like that for hauling materials. But yeah, it's a lot of different things that go into it. So I'll probably end up with 5 or 6 pages of sketches by the time I actually get to building and just have the idea really honed in.
Well, speaking of Bricks Cascade and planning for Bricks Cascade, if you missed yesterday's Tricky Lug meeting, there we go. If you missed yesterday's Tricky Lug meeting, we are going to be doing a Tricky Lug collaborative display at Bricks Cascade that is going to be based around the challenge that we did for the Friends Apartments a couple of weeks ago. And we had some really, really fantastic builds. And I mean, to me, there were quite a few really good ones, but to me, the one that took the cake was Rob Zaccardi's Friends Vengers Tower was amazing and incredible, and the characters were so great. But we are going to be taking pieces up there and putting them together in a collaborative display and making kind of a Friends city block, or I mean, who knows, maybe more than that, depending on how many entries we get. So if you're interested and you didn't get to be at the meeting yesterday, you can talk to Cara, is the info on Discord, or where can they get the info?
I haven't set it up yet, but we will put it on the Discord. It will be emailed to the Tricky Lug email list if you're on it. And then at some point, we'll get it on the website too. Maybe Monica can help us with that.
Yeah. So, and there's been some talk about, people, if you can't make it, mailing, if you want to mail your mock, that's a possibility. And also another thing that we came up with, because we've got quite a few people with large collections of bricks. If you come up with an idea and you don't want to send it, you could send your pictures of your model to one of us, and we will rebuild it for you and take it there to represent you at the in the collaborative display. So if that's something you can do, let me know, or let us know.
Or me.
Or
That's
Cara.
cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
Me, Tricky Lug at Gmail, Flynn.
Yeah, Flynn at TrickyBricks.com. What were you saying, Blair?
Oh, I was gonna say I had ideas, but I wasn't able to complete mine, so I'm excited to work on it for the show. So
Cool.
Yeah, I think I've been kind of stressing about Bricks Cascade. It just sort of snuck up on me, and I've been so consumed with other things and like set building and sorting and everything else that I was like, oh crap, I really don't have enough time to build any like.
In 5 weeks, March 12th and 13th. And the nice thing about this collaboration is those apartments are small and easy to build. They're
I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm just, because there's a few like collab type things going on. And I think this year I'm just going to like try and commit just to collaborations. If something else, like if I'm able to finish something else that's worth showing between now and then, I think, cool, but I'm not going to stress it. I think I've actually never really put time into collaborations. So I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, and these are like 8x16, like they're small, and they've got we've got instructions on how to, like what the sizes are, and just that Friends. It's not actually called Friends Apartments. That's the Friends TV show one. It's called The Main Street Building is the name of it. And we're sort of basing everybody we're kind of basing everything around that. So it's going to be really exciting. We've got some great things coming up. So yeah.
Well, other than in addition to the super friendly, talented, welcoming people, one of the things that stands out the most for me about Bricks Cascade is the many collaborative builds.
Yeah,
there's really a lot of great opportunities to collaborate in large, interesting pieces.
Yeah,
and there's more friends love, I say. More love for friends. So definitely want to make sure we're going to have to definitely take pictures of that and get that to the Friends team. But yeah, lots of fun friends shenanigans coming up for Bricks Cascade and for the rest of the year. So we hopefully will be able to take that display to several different ones. So
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get my Friends piece to Bricks Cascade. I'm still looking at how to do it.
well, yeah, let us know.
I don't know how to ship it. That's the problem I'm having.
Well, there's that.
Just gonna have to come in person.
I know. I guess you'll just have to
Yeah.
come. So, Bricks Cascade collaborative build, and now I've run out of things. So, yeah.
I did post a link to the instructions in the chat. So.
Oh, there you go. Woo!
Hey everyone, look what I've been doing. We just ended up and we put some of it in our challenge build for this week, our Fabuland, but we've expanded our Fabuland collection of characters.
You know what? My Fab Stacks is still in one piece. Maybe I should bring that.
It's awesome. It will make people happy.
I mean, my vehicle just needs a little bit of love, and it'll be back to being able to drive around. So hopefully,
All right. I mean, we do have a post-apocalyptic theme, don't we?
It's true. It is.
I
true.
may as well. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll register it. Why not?
Oh, the days of Fab Max.
I know.
That was. I think that was my first experience ever doing a collaborative build on that scale. Like that was just so. I mean, like even though we were in the middle of a pandemic and there was, we couldn't all be together. That was just such an epic come together of people. I still can't believe that was like over 100 models.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah.
I bet a few other people probably have remnants of that too. I have to find
We
out.
only have one little bit left of it. We have corner. We have the corner that was supposed to be us. It was the two monkeys
In our
drinking,
destroyed
drinking
apartment building.
coffee in a destroyed apartment building. That was like hard.
I still have both of mine, I think.
No, that's so great.
I know the V8. The V8's definitely together because it
Yeah.
just looks so Ronald McDonald. I just can't take it apart.
Crazy to think we actually come to think of it. I guess I've built a few things since like the last in-person Bricks Cascade because I only took one thing to the picnic. So I'll just show the stuff the little things I've thrown together over the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about at work yesterday. People were like, well, what are you taking to Bricks Cascade? And I was like, well, I've scaled back. I'm trying to make sure I don't, feel too stressed out and everything. But, it's a lot of it is packing and repairing 2 years worth of things that most people haven't seen. I took a few to the Bricknick, but there's a lot of random little stuff. So
Yeah.
You guys are all worried about the wrong thing.
I know. It's so stressful.
You should really, what should really concern you is where the cow parking is. Now, if there is not ample parking for my cow, something serious is going to happen.
It's not as easy as you would think.
It's not. Have you tried to park a cow?
Oh my
Dude,
goodness!
They're very
My
stubborn.
dad got chased down by a dairy cow, and it was not pretty. And that's a true story. He was fly fishing. And he decided to he got out of the water to get around some rocks or something. And this dairy cow charged him, and he had to get back in the water before, he got, not like getting hit by a bison, but it's getting hit by a really big animal.
Yeah. My grandma used to tell a story about a bull attacking her in the barn, and she ended up having to fight it off with a pitchfork.
Whoa!
Like a little kid. And I was like, that is a crazy story, Grandma.
See, Blair, you got to mind you got to park your cow correctly. You got to have your cow parking.
You know what, Blair? Don't sass your grandma.
I mean, she was a pretty interesting woman, that's for sure.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
It is Oregon, so I'm sure there's plenty of cow parking. Don't worry, Moto.
The way that y'all are so
There better
serious
be.
about this cracks me up.
What's that, Randall?
I said the way that y'all are so serious about this cracks me up. Like I would never do that.
We're serious about everything around here.
I need to get out and see the world.
Oh, speaking of Bricks Cascade, I just got a theme coordinator message about large mocks for space. So got some big stuff getting registered.
Yeah, we need to make sure we've talked to somebody about saving us a table for something.
Yeah,
Yes,
I don't
if you
think we
see
need
that
a
you're
lot
coming,
of space, but
now is the time to start registering things, especially if they're big. Last minute registrations for tiny stuff, whatever. But if you're building something that's large enough to take up, a good amount of space on a table, us theme coordinators want to know early.
can you point me in the direction of the town, city, and whoever does that theme? And I'll reach out to them today.
I think you contact through the there should be a form on the website.
Okay.
Yeah, either that or
I'll do that
contact
today.
Christina
Promise.
Ritzman, who's kind of like the overlord. So
Yep, that is correct.
Awesome. We've been working more on our. Well, I mean, we'll be building for that, but we're also working more on our Lego house piece, digging out holes and mills plates for places that go below.
What's the ultimate dimension that you're shooting for again?
60 centimeters deep by 90 centimeters wide by about 70 to 80 tall.
centimeters, 80 centimeters
he
tall.
always wants to make it bigger. Like,
of course.
What if we just add 8 more studs?
So-
I don't know. Maybe the Lego house wouldn't mind expanding their
Their
glass
cabinet.
display case.
No, we are well underneath the height requirement. I think that
Plus, you got to have room for things flying. Man.
exactly. You have to have something that goes like this.
Yeah.
We can't use motors.
I know.
You'll have to invent a perpetual.
What's
motion
the
machine.
display case dimensions in American?
American.
In Imperial.
I have to translate. We're like, maybe a yard, almost a yard wide. I'm not going to embarrass myself by doing a poor translation.
8
From
hot dogs high, 3 pies deep, 1 baseball bat wide.
But I did a dumb thing in our design drawing. In our design drawing, I had 1/8" ruled grid paper, right? 1 inch, equals 8. So I made 1 inch equals 8 studs. So I know that it's 80 studs tall, but how useful is that information? 80 studs tall. I have to do a translation now.
They have calculators.
You really should get the most incredible the blueprint graphic.
Oh wait, show the
You
show.
are so funny.
What's that, Moto? Tell me again.
If you are doing Lego sketches, I would highly recommend this Most Incredible Studios, The Blueprint, which is graph paper for bricks. It is 200 pages. It has both studs up and studs out as well. So the exact Lego dimensions, as well as the back pages, are good for plate dimensions.
Wow. I think we might have to get one of those. How can we get one, Randall?
It's really interesting. You can go to mostincrediblestud.io, and it's $24.99. Recommended MSRP.
I think we're going to need that. We're doing a really big mosaic that we have to plan out in advance.
Yeah.
It's not self-promotion if your friend knows the angle.
Does it have guides to snot connections in the back?
I also love the 60s sort of Helvetica design on the cover.
Well, I mean, it does give you the basic brick measurements.
That's cool.
So it does have the snot math. 10 plates or 2 bricks at 4 plates. So it does have the basics.
But not the snot piece. That's interesting, Blair.
Oh, hooded ones.
The Brick Nerd article that's like basics of snot. That kind of information, if I had it like in a physical book, especially with a sketchbook, I would be like, yes, this is my little tome.
These two right here are really, really good tips.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's the headlight bricks?
The headlight plus 3 is a 2, and then they do the bracket plus the math for you.
See, it does have the good stuff. That's
now
awesome,
we just need we just need the Technic version.
That is not my area of expertise.
That would be that'd have to be at least like an 11 by 17 or something.
And so I was thinking about this too. I'm like, damn, how do you get some custom like sketch pads, like the big stuff? Because I had to buy one recently that's close to Lego scale, but it's good enough because there's bigger stuff that I'm planning on working on this year. So yeah.
Yeah, we have a very like Richard was saying, we have a very large, like studs up brick mosaic that we're making for the background of our piece, and it's going to be.
We have to plan that.
We have to plan that in advance. That's definitely a place where drawing will come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mosaics are great for that's where Studio excels. It's just basic connections, just throwing stuff down on studs.
Right.
Just import those big, I don't know, plates or whatever you want. And
I think we're going to be buying
pasting. It's real easy in Studio.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be lots of making curved lines out of
the edges of plates.
Yeah, the edges of plates. Although I got to say, I was very, very intrigued by yesterday at the Tricky Leg meeting. Monica showed off her Majestic Tiger model that she was building, and looking at the fitting of the pieces that make up the stripes of the tiger. My mind was blown, and I was actually looking at that, thinking how we could get more curvy with our studs up building, like they did on that. It was looks really, really cool. Fitted pieces.
That particular connection is my favorite thing about that set. It took me a while staring at it when it first came out to figure out how they did it, and it's that the little 1x3 slipper slope interacts perfectly with the 1x2 inverted half bow, and it's
brilliant. I know that when I finally realized that's what it was when she was showing it off yesterday, I was like, oh, that's a thing. Yeah. That's a thing that happened.
They finished it off with those printed G slopes, which just looks so good.
Yeah.
So we were talking about like an AI designing or some elite level math. This came up, I believe. Yeah, it was on YouTube. It was Boone Langston was doing the typewriter, and he was assembling the typewriter. He had a designer in there, and they were talking about the use of the tooth gear mechanism within the typewriter.
Mm-hmm. Like the rack gear.
Yeah,
like saw.
Yeah, there's basically a bionicle type saw piece.
Yeah, saw piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's used to advance the register. And the designer said, oh, yeah, who solved that was, and they named this guy. And he said, well, I don't know who that is. Like, what set designer? He's like, he doesn't design sets. He's like this guy that just is like the mad scientist in the back, where a designer will come to him with these technical problems. He like disappears for a while. And then he comes back with like these things that solve the problem. He hands them back to the set designers.
Wow.
I need that guy.
Who is that?
So I want to go back and I watch the video and get the name of that guy, but there's like some sort of like Uber solver.
That makes
Lego.
all
I've never
the
heard this
difference in the
name
world.
before.
Wow.
We have those guys at work too.
I need that.
I love that kind of
Kind
stuff.
of.
That's one of the things I miss the most about conventions and hanging out, though, because you go to a lug meeting in person, or you're at a convention and you're talking to another esteemed builder, and you say like, "Yeah, and I just like had trouble figuring out this thing," or maybe you're working on something, and then they'll be like, "Well, have you thought about this?" And you know, sometimes it unlocks the solution, and you know, it's so cool.
Well, that's something I'm really excited about going to Scareback about, because that's very far away from here. And I have to think, like, when I look at floral arrangements done by Lego artists around the world, they look different from different countries, like there's different styles. And I really look forward to seeing what, I might see in Scareback.
Some of my favorite builds that I see are when they post the ones from I've seen a couple of like Japanese BrickCon type of things, and oh my goodness, like the building style is so incredibly different, and so they just do amazing things with bricks that I would never even thought of. I just find that so endlessly fascinating.
Yeah, the Japanese designs, I find the only word is sublime.
Yeah,
That's the only word that comes to mind.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Whew. All right. Well,
what do you think, Flynn?
I think that's going to wrap it up for today's show. But wait, there's more.
We need to do minifigures.
Yeah, we didn't do minifigures.
And you always know it's time to do minifigures. I got something. Say that it's time to go because I always forget.
And that's when I get up, not searching for a minifigure at the last minute.
Well,
exactly. So Blair, you want to go first? Since you're ready?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Look what I got.
Oh, mine are on the way.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
The best one.
Nice.
Oh, that is the best one. That is.
Oh, she's so amazing.
One.
I was able to snag a few. A friend ordered a case, and I traded some Star Wars stuff for it. So I got a small assortment here. Let me grab the other few here. So I got her and these.
Oh man!
So
look how colorful that
super
collection
cool.
of figures.
I know, right? It's so rainbow-tastic.
Very nice.
And this guy is just like so awesome.
Oh, he like a little slime guy.
Yeah, it makes me want to do a Nickelodeon TV show.
All right. Oh, very good. All right. Who we got next? Holly.
all right, hang on. Let me grab one.
Oh, okay. Randall.
I happened to grab this Harry Potter minifig that came with the Hedwig set.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is like one of the only Harry Potter sets that I've ever bought because I don't really get jiggy with Harry Potter sets like that. Love the movie, not the set.
Sure. I love that Hedwig in Flight is such a great little single piece.
Mm-hmm.
So glad that they finally did that one.
Yeah, and the set was really dope. Like I actually love the mechanics behind the.
Oh yeah. I put together the fox, and that one was similar. Really, really cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
All right, Holly, you ready now?
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of Coraline, because we showed off the Coraline sketches today. Yesterday marked
Coraline T-shirt.
I'm wearing my Coraline T-shirt, and yesterday marked the 13th anniversary of the release.
Oh.
And here is Coraline's minifig.
Yay! Wait, what? How many years?
13.
Holy bananas! Oh my goodness!
Teenager, yay!
Yeah, she's a teenager times 2.
Awesome. All right, Moto.
Da,
Dun, 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 clap, clap. Dun, 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 clap, clap.
Very good. Double LCT today.
Back from chasing after chipmunks, it's Logan.
Not squirrels.
Not squirrels.
Okay. Kara.
So I just grabbed one that's nearby.
Yay! Wanda. I do love Wanda.
Mid-flight.
Yes.
Mid-flight. Yep. Action posed.
All right. You ready for ours?
Yep.
And this has nothing to do with the fact that these were close by.
No.
Oh.
You ready there? Okay. I'm just parking my cow.
Oh.
Yes. And I have, and actually this one is maybe one of my favorite Fabuland characters, not only because he's not common, but because
Great condition.
Oh, look, he's bald.
He's really, yeah, I know. Look, he's got
That's amazing.
But this also is his head joint is really tight as well as his leg joints. And that's something in Fabuland, if you know Fabuland figs, finding ones that don't just flop over because the legs are too loose and the arms is difficult. So yeah, he's pretty cool.
And that beak paint is often.
I know,
very
and his beak, he's only got one teensy tiny little rub at the very, very front. Because I have another one. I have like a black crow that is like he's got a lot of missing paint on his snout there, his beak. So there you go. All right. Cool. Wow. Thanks everybody so much for joining today. And Randall, so glad you could come and join and show that awesome Chicago sign. Just
seriously.
I when they see that, when the people from the theater see that, I don't see how they're not going to want to have it displayed. Like that seems like a shoo-in. So we'll start the letter writing campaign.
You may even want to buy it, so be prepared.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, what's the website with petitions.org or something?
Yeah.
There you go.
Change.org.
Change.org. And don't forget to pick up your Lego graph paper notebook as well.
Oh, funny.
All right, everybody. So we will be back this week. We'll be doing, obviously, I'll be on Tuesday on Twitch, building some stuff, more stuff for our Lego house piece, as well as this coming up Friday. We will also be working on our Lego house piece some more. And we are in the middle of a 2-week challenge. And this time, the challenge, now you're not going to believe this if you weren't here on Friday, that we're actually doing something that has to do with sports. But
yay!
The Winter Olympics have just kicked off, so we are doing a winter sports challenge. A winter sports challenge. So you got 2 weeks to get that one in. Can't wait to see what everybody does. I have a feeling we'll be seeing a lot of the new ice skater fig that no one wants, and now everyone will use.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
There'll be a run on those.
Everyone's favorite ice swimming will be very popular.
Ice swimming and cow parking. Actually, cow park.
Oh, Joel.
That's a summer sport.
Joel is tired of Baby Yoda saving the show. Has dibs on curling.
Right.
With Lego Brooms.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do curling, it's not quite right, but a cool piece could be the little hook for the new Lego Dots charms.
Oh,
if it wasn't getting a closed loop,
true.
Oh, yeah.
if you shot it just right, it would look really good. It could be a nice little curling.
All right, everybody. Until next time, don't forget to stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, wear your mask, get that vaccine, get that booster, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Happy building.
Bye.
Park that cow.
Pardon me, sir. Can you direct me to the cow parking?